I, Keith Christopher Rowley, do swear by Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to Trinidad and Tobago and will uphold the Constitution and the law, that I will conscientiously, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge my duties as Prime Minister and do right to all manner of people without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Some leaders are born into legacy while others must carve their own path. And out of humble beginnings, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley forged his own destiny. The year is 1949 and Mason Hall, Tobago, the place he would call home during his youth. Born into modest circumstances, Dr. Rowley's early years were shaped by discipline and determination. After all, he was raised by his grandparents, who were farmers, and so he learned that success was not handed to you, it had to be earned. That in order to live a life worth remembering, you had to be exceptional, not only in your words, but by your deeds.
One of the things you were always taught in these parts when I grew up here is that you had to have ambition, meaning that you have to have a goal in life to be better than you are, or to be better than where you came from, to keep improving. It's not something that can change. It becomes part of me. It is what I am. It's the way I know it.
And from Mason Hall to Whitehall, Dr. Rowley rose not through privilege, but through perseverance, intellect, and an unshakable commitment to the service of his country.
I've missed my children, graduation, all in the service of the PNM as we work for the service of the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
In 2015, leading the People's National Movement, the PNM, Dr. Rowley was elected Prime Minister, marking the beginning of a transformative decade, where he stood at the helm of Trinidad and Tobago, guiding its people through triumphs and trials with a steady resolve and focus. Taking office during an economic downturn, his government faced pushback over issues like crime, economic policy, declining oil and gas revenues, and the big one, Petrotran's closure. Nevertheless, his administration implemented fiscal reforms, stabilized foreign reserves, and invested in non-energy sectors.
You would know the importance of the energy sector to Trinidad and Tobago because it has done so much for us. Oil, gas, point leases, you know that. But as we rely very heavily on that, exposed to the vagaries of the international market and now the reduction in our own production volumes of those things, you would also have been hearing about the scolding that we are receiving and have been receiving for decades, that we need to diversify the economy.
Going into his second term, the COVID-19 pandemic would test Rowley's leadership. Lockdowns, economic relief measures, and vaccine rollouts became the focus of his administration, a balancing act of economic survival and preserving life.
We are in a situation that is unprecedented. And little Trinidad and Tobago, we have to make sure that we paddle our canoe in this fast-moving stream and try and take our people to shore.
A volcanologist by training, but a public servant by calling, Dr. Rowley holds a PhD in geology, a field that demands patience, precision, and the ability to read shifting landscapes, qualities that would serve him well in the dynamic, sometimes volatile terrain of politics.
He's the most experienced Prime Minister this country has ever seen. No Prime Minister has experienced what we want. William never lose an election. William was never in opposition. Chambers was never in opposition. Manning, but Keith Rowley came in His first experience, he lost his first election in Tobago. He's the only prime minister. He lost his first election in Tobago. He became a member of the Senate. He was in the opposition, he was in the Senate, he was in the House, he was a minister. He's the most experienced prime minister.
From 1987 to 2025, Dr. Rowley has gone through the ranks, from a member of the lower house to the leader of the opposition to the Minister of Agriculture, Planning and Development, Housing, Trade and Industry, and ultimately, the Prime Minister.
That's what we've got. Still no major indifference of race, color, religion, or finance. It's amazing to you, I'm sure. We didn't get it.
I was very proud to have led that health team that steered us out of COVID. And the COVID experience for me, I think, would have been the highlight of my career.
Governance is no easy road. It demands tough decisions in times when the right path is not the easiest, resilience in the face of crises, and the ability to stand firm when the winds of adversity threaten to sweep a nation off course. As Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley confronted economic downturns, a global pandemic, and natural disasters, but through it all, his vision remained clear: to lead Trinidad and Tobago through the turmoil towards a brighter future. Never one to sugarcoat or mince words, he is known for his unfiltered discourse. One thing is for certain, he never shies away from the difficult truths and is always ready to divulge fatherly advice and even scolding, resulting in some worthy quotables.
They always do their best. We want to achieve, I myself to aspire. We want to be a success. Bam, 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 bam. The revenue we make from oil and the pitch lake is great. But wait, we got cocoa and copra, banana and sugar, coconut, citrus. We may be small, but we wealthy. Pound for pound, we'll beat New York City. We got beaches and hotels built by Hilton. Our nation is second to anyone. Where you talking? Trinidad.
Under his stewardship, the government kept pushing forward. Roads were built, ports expanded, more people received homes. Brick by brick, they worked by shaping the country's future. As he stands ready to descend the steps of Whitehall, few moments in his leadership might have felt as fulfilling as these. And then there was the opening of the Port of Spain General Hospital C Block, bringing world-class healthcare to citizens. Under his leadership, the country also celebrated the practical completion of the A&R Robertson International Airport Terminal in Tobago, a project close to his heart. Two milestones that will serve the people for generations to come. Each initiative, a building block in the foundation of a more sustainable Trinidad and Tobago, and an example in service to others who would come after. But beyond the weight of office, beyond the politics and the podiums, Dr. Rowley is a husband, a father, a grandfather, a man who finds joy in the infectious rhythm of the steel pan, and solace in the lush greens of a golf course or his farm, which undoubtedly ties him deeply to his roots. Leadership is not about being perfect. It's about showing up for the people and making choices that will outlive your term in office. And as he prepares to step away from public life, the page turns on another chapter in Trinidad and Tobago's history. The title, Prime Minister, may soon be behind him, but his legacy is woven into the fabric of the nation, in the policies that shaped lives, and the resilience he has inspired in many.
I talk to my colleagues in the parliament, I tell them all the time, don't fall in love with these jobs, Don't fall in love with them. There are times when you have to leave them. And it's better to leave on your terms than to be sent out.
After 10 years at the top, Dr. Rowley's impact is undeniable. From stabilizing the economy to navigating a pandemic, his legacy will be debated for years to come. And as he steps into a new chapter, his voice, his wisdom, and his love for Trinidad and Tobago will always find a place in its story. Because leadership is not about the years in office, but the mark left behind. As Trinidad and Tobago looks ahead, it's undeniable that Dr. Rowley has left his mark on the nation's history.
We have a lot of young people out there who are depending on all of us who have responsibility in this country. Wherever you're located, not just in the cabinet, not just behind the bus wheel, every one of us have a responsibility, and if each of us pull our weight, Trinidad and Tobago could be a model nation. Sparrows sang about a model nation in 1962. Let's try and build that now. We've done a lot, but there's a lot of work to be done still.
The whole population of our little nation is not a lot, but oh, what a mixture of races and culture, that's what we've got. Still